They say blood is thicker than water, but apparently not thick enough to stick around when someone's dying. My name is Abigail, and I've been wiping my father's drool for 3 years, while my brothers counted his money from a distance. Today, as I'm changing his catheter bag for the 4th time since breakfast, I can hear them in the hallway arguing about whether the hardwood floors will add value to the house sale. "Dad, can you hear me?" I whisper, adjusting his pillow. His eyes flutter open, cloudy but still sharp enough to recognise me. "Abs," he croaks. "My good girl." The hallway voices get louder. Archer's corporate bark cuts through the air first. "She's been living here rent-free for 5 years, Abraham. 5 years. Do you know what that's worth in today's market?" I know. Abraham's smoother voice responds. "But we can't just kick her out the day after the funeral. It'll look bad." Look bad to who? She's 32 and unemployed. At some point, tough love becomes necessary. I close my eyes and count to 10, then 20. Dad's hand finds mine, surprisingly strong for someone who can barely lift his head. "Don't listen to them," he whispers. But I do listen. I've been listening for years. The truth is, I wasn't always the family disappointment. 5 years ago, I had a marketing job at a tech startup, my own apartment, a social life that didn't revolve around medication schedules. I was dating someone who actually returned my calls. I had plans. Then Mom died, and Dad started forgetting things. Little things at first, where he put his keys, whether he'd eaten lunch. Then bigger things like turning off the stove or taking his heart medication. Archer lived 3 states away, climbing corporate ladders. Abraham was between opportunities, which meant he was spending his trust fund on failed business ventures and expensive dinners. Someone had to step up. Someone always has to step up. "Remember when you decided to move back home?" Dad asks suddenly, his voice clearer than it's been in weeks. I remember the phone call from his neighbour, Mrs. Patterson, saying she'd found him wandering the street in his pyjamas at 2 a.m. I remember the choice between my career and my conscience. I remember my brother's relief when I volunteered, disguised as concern. "You sure about this, Abby?" Abraham had said over the phone. "It's a big commitment. Someone has to do it," I'd replied. "Well, if you think you can handle it," Archer had added, already mentally checking dad problem off his to-do list. That was 5 years ago. 5 years of watching my savings evaporate, my friendships fade, my dating life become a punchline. 5 years of grocery runs and doctor appointments and insurance battles. 5 years of being called a mooch by men who show up twice a year with expensive wine and cheaper excuses. "The hospice nurse says it won't be long now," I tell Dad, squeezing his hand. "Good," he says, and I know he means it. "I'm tired, Abs. So tired." "I know, Dad, I know. But you..." He struggles to sit up, and I help him. "You'll get what you deserve. I promise you that." Before I can ask what he means, Archer appears in the doorway, 6 feet tall, silver-haired, wearing a suit that costs more than I used to make in a month. He looks at Dad with the expression of someone checking the expiration date on milk. "How's he doing today?" Archer asks me, not him. "He's right here," I snap. "You can ask him directly." "Dad, how are you feeling?" Archer's voice shifts to that patronising tone people use with children and the elderly. Dad's eyes narrow. "Like I'm dying, you jackass." Abraham appears behind Archer, all charm and expensive cologne. "Hey, Dad, looking good today." Dad snorts. "Looking dead, you mean?" "Don't say that," Abraham says, but he's already glancing at his phone. "Why not? It's true." Dad's voice gains strength. "At least someone in this family isn't afraid of the truth." The brothers exchange a look. I've seen this look before. It's the look that says crazy old man and inheritance and how much longer do we have to pretend to care? "We should let you rest," Archer says. After they leave, Dad grabs my wrist with surprising force. "There's an envelope," he whispers urgently. "In my desk drawer, the locked one, keys taped under the lamp. Don't open it until after." "After what, Dad?" But his eyes are already closing, and his breathing settles into the shallow rhythm that means he's done talking for now. I sit there holding his hand, listening to my brothers discuss real estate values in the next room and wonder what he meant about getting what I deserve. I'm about to find out. Dad died on a Tuesday. The funeral was Friday. By Saturday morning, my brothers were measuring the living room. "The staging company says we need to clear out all the personal items," Archer announces, clipboard in hand like he's conducting a business meeting. "Photos, knick-knacks, anything that screams, 'old person lived here.'" I'm sitting at the kitchen table where I've eaten breakfast for 5 years, still wearing yesterday's black dress because I haven't had the energy to change. The funeral flowers are already wilting on the counter. "Don't you think we should wait a few days?" I ask. Abraham looks up from his phone. "Wait for what?" "Abby, I know this is hard, but Dad's gone. Sitting around isn't going to bring him back." "I'm not sitting around, I'm grieving." "We're all grieving," Archer says, not looking up from his clipboard. "But grief doesn't pay the bills. This house needs work before we can list it. New paint, updated fixtures, maybe refinish the floors." "List it." The words hit me like cold water. "Already?" "The market's hot right now," Abraham explains, like he's doing me a favour. "We could get 20% over asking if we move fast." "Where am I supposed to go?" The brothers exchange another one of their looks. "Well," Archer clears his throat, "you'll have your share of the inheritance. That should be enough for a nice apartment, maybe a little left over to get back on your feet." "Get back on my feet!" I stand up so fast my chair scrapes against the floor. "I've been on my feet for 5 years taking care of our father while you two played house in other states." "Nobody asked you to do that," Abraham says quietly. The silence that follows is deafening. Even he looks surprised by what just came out of his mouth. "Excuse me? I mean," he backpedals, "we're grateful, obviously, but you made that choice, Abby. You chose to move back home instead of getting a job." "I had a job. I quit my job to take care of Dad." "Right, but that was your decision," Archer adds. "We never asked you to sacrifice your career." I stare at them. Actually stare. These two men who used to be my brothers, who I used to look up to, who I thought would at least pretend to care that our father died 3 days ago. "You're right," I say finally. "You never asked. You just assumed I would." "Look, we appreciate everything you did," Abraham says, switching to his salesman voice. "But now it's time to move forward. Dad would want us to be practical. Dad would want you to show up for more than just the reading of the will." Archer's jaw tightens. "That's not fair." "Fair?" I laugh, and it sounds bitter even to me. "You want to talk about fair? Fair would be you taking turns. Fair would be you contributing to his medical expenses. Fair would be you acknowledging that I gave up everything while you gave up nothing." "You didn't give up everything," Abraham argues. "You had free room and board for 5 years. Do you know what rent costs these days?" "Free room and board." My voice cracks. "I was his nurse, his cook, his cleaner, his chauffeur, his companion. I haven't had a full night's sleep in 3 years. I haven't been on a date since Obama was president. I have exactly $400 in my checking account because every penny I had went to keeping him comfortable while you two sent Christmas cards." "We visited," Archer protests weakly, "twice a year. For 3 hours. Long enough to criticize how I was doing things and short enough to avoid actually helping." The front door opens and Nicole walks in carrying a casserole dish. She takes one look at the scene and sets the food down carefully. "How are we doing today?" she asks, but her eyes are on my brothers. "We're making plans," Abraham says with a forced smile. "Getting organised." "Plans for what?" "Selling the house," I say flatly. Nicole's eyebrows shoot up. "Already? Abby, didn't you just bury your father yesterday?" The day before yesterday, Archer corrects, and the market won't wait for our emotional timeline. Jesus Christ, Nicole mutters. You two are something else. This is family business, Archer says coldly. Abby is family. I've been watching her sacrifice everything for 5 years while you two played absent landlord. So, yeah, it's my business when you show up the minute the man is in the ground talking about staging and market values. Abraham's phone buzzes. He glances at it and frowns. The lawyer wants to see us Monday morning, 10 a.m. All of us, I ask. All of us. After they leave, Nicole sits down across from me. You okay? No. Good. You shouldn't be okay with this. I remember Dad's words about the envelope, the locked drawer, the key under the lamp. Nicole, can you help me with something? Anything. We go to Dad's study. The key is exactly where he said it would be. Inside the locked drawer, underneath old tax returns and insurance papers, is a manila envelope with my name written in Dad's shaky handwriting. Open after I'm gone, I read aloud. Well, he's gone, Nicole says gently. Inside is a single sheet of paper and a smaller sealed envelope. The paper has one line written in Dad's careful script. For when you have to face them alone, you're stronger than you know, and you have more ammunition than they think. The smaller envelope is marked, Give to Veronica before the reading. Who's Veronica? Nicole asks. The family lawyer. We stare at the envelopes. My hands are shaking. What do you think it means? Nicole asks. I don't know, but I have a feeling I'm about to find out. Sunday night, my phone rings at 11 p.m. It's Archer. We need documentation, he says without preamble, for everything you spent on Dad's care. What kind of documentation? Receipts, bank statements, proof of expenses. The lawyer says the estate needs a full accounting before we can settle anything. I'm sitting on Dad's bed surrounded by 5 years of medical bills I've been shoving into shoeboxes. Why? Standard procedure. We just want to make sure everything's above board. The way he says above board makes my skin crawl, like I've been skimming money from a dying man's medication fund. Fine, I'll get everything together. Good. And Abby? Make sure it's thorough. We don't want any discrepancies. He hangs up. I stare at the phone, then at the mountain of paperwork surrounding me. Nicole finds me at 2 a.m., still sorting through receipts on the kitchen table. What are you doing? They want documentation. Every penny I spent on Dad's care. She sits down and picks up a stack of pharmacy receipts. This is insane. Look at these dates. You were buying his medications every week for years. Here's my favourite, I say, holding up a crumpled receipt. Depends adult diapers, $47.99, March 15th, 2021, the day Abraham called to tell me about his new Tesla. They think you were stealing from him. They think I was living the high life on Dad's dime. I laugh, but there's no humour in it. Free room and board, remember? Nicole starts organising receipts by date. What about your lost wages? You had a good job before this. I kept my last pay stub and my offer letter from the promotion I never got to take. We work in silence for an hour. The pile of documentation grows. Medical bills, prescription receipts, grocery receipts, gas receipts from countless trips to doctor's appointments, insurance co-pays, medical equipment rentals, adult diapers and protein shakes, and the special mattress to prevent bed sores. Jesus, Abby, this is thousands of dollars. Try tens of thousands. My phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. Hope you kept your receipts, Mooch. I show Nicole. Her face hardens. That's Abraham's number. I recognize it from when he used to text me asking about you. He used to text you about me. Checking up. Making sure you weren't taking advantage of the situation. She makes air quotes. I told him to go to hell. At 3 a.m., I find the folder I've been dreading, my employment records, the job I loved, the career I was building, the life I put on hold. Look at this, I tell Nicole, holding up my last performance review. Exceeds expectations in all categories. Recommended for promotion to senior marketing manager. What was the salary bump? $15,000 a year, plus bonuses. Nicole does quick math on her phone calculator. Over 5 years, that's at least $75,000 in lost income, not counting the promotions you would have gotten after that. I find my old 401k statements. The retirement account I had to cash out to pay for Dad's medications when Medicare wouldn't cover them. There goes my future, I mutter, looking at the early withdrawal penalties. What about your social life, dating, the therapy you needed after your mum died? You can't put a price on that. Actually, you can. Therapy costs money, so do dates. So does having a life outside this house. By dawn, we have everything organised in neat piles. Medical expenses, household expenses, lost wages, retirement penalties, opportunity costs. Nicole has been keeping a running total on her phone. Abby, you need to see this number. She shows me the screen. I blink, certain I'm reading it wrong. That can't be right. I checked it 3 times. This is what you gave up to take care of your father. This is what it cost you. The number is staggering. More than I made in 2 years at my old job. More than I ever imagined. They want documentation, I say, looking at the neat stacks of papers. They'll get documentation. At 8 a.m. my phone rings. It's a woman with a crisp, professional voice. This is Veronica Fox, your family's attorney. I understand you have something for me before tomorrow's reading. Yes, my father left me an envelope to give to you. Can you bring it by this morning? Say 9:30? I'll be there. After I hang up, Nicole helps me load all the documentation into bankers' boxes. 3 full boxes of receipts, statements, and records. You know what this is, right? Nicole says, as we carry the boxes to my car. What? This is your father's final gift to you. He knew they'd come for you like this. He knew they'd demand proof, and he made sure you'd have it. I think about Dad's note. You have more ammunition than they think. What do you think he meant by that? I guess we'll find out tomorrow. As we drive to the lawyer's office, Nicole squeezes my hand. Whatever happens in that room tomorrow, remember this. You earned every penny. You sacrificed everything. And now it's time to get what you deserve. The sealed envelope feels heavy in my lap, heavier than paper should feel, like it's full of secrets that are about to change everything. The lawyer's office smells like leather and old money. Veronica Fox sits behind a mahogany desk that probably costs more than my car, wearing a grey suit and the kind of smile that says she's seen every family drama imaginable. Please, sit, she says, gesturing to chairs arranged in a semicircle. I've reviewed the documentation you provided, Abigail, very thorough. Archer and Abraham are already seated, looking like they're attending a board meeting. Archer checks his Rolex. Abraham scrolls through his phone. Can we get started? Archer asks. I have a conference call at 11. Of course. Veronica opens a thick folder. We're here for the reading of your father's last will and testament. Before we begin, I should mention that your father made some unusual provisions. Unusual how? Abraham asks, finally looking up from his phone. You'll see. Veronica's smile doesn't reach her eyes. Let's start with the standard bequests. She reads through the small items first. Dad's watch goes to Archer, his coin collection to Abraham, his books to me. The brothers nod along, clearly waiting for the main event. Now, regarding the primary estate, Veronica continues, the house valued at approximately $850,000 and liquid assets totaling $320,000. Archer and Abraham lean forward. I can practically see them doing math in their heads. The estate is to be divided equally among the 3 children with the following stipulation. Here it comes, the part where I get my third and they get the house sold, and everyone moves on with their lives. No distribution of assets may occur until all outstanding debts and obligations of the estate are satisfied Standard language, Archer says dismissively. What debts? Dad was pretty careful with money. Veronica flips to another page. Your father specifically identified one significant obligation. Quote, my daughter, Abigail, sacrificed her career, her savings, and 5 years of her life to provide care that would have cost the estate approximately $200,000 annually in professional nursing fees. She is to be compensated for all documented expenses, lost wages, and caregiving services before any other distributions are made. The room goes dead silent. I'm sorry, what? Abraham's voice cracks slightly. Your father calculated the value of Abigail's caregiving services at the rate of professional in-home nursing care, 24-hour care 7 days a week for 5 years. Archer's face has gone pale. That's not legally binding. She chose to do that. Actually, it is legally binding. Your father was very specific. He worked with me for months to ensure this provision would hold up in court. Veronica pulls out another document. He also included this letter to be read aloud. Quote, to my sons who called their sister a mooch while she emptied her bank account to keep me comfortable. To my sons who visited twice a year and criticized everything she did. Abigail gave up her career, her savings, her social life, and her future to care for me when you couldn't be bothered. This is not revenge. This is justice. How much? I whisper. Veronica consults her notes. Based on the documentation you provided, the total compensation comes to $847,000. Abraham makes a choking sound. $800,000? That includes lost wages, documented expenses, and the calculated value of caregiving services at market rates. Archer stands up abruptly. This is insane. She lived rent-free for 5 years. The will addresses that too, Veronica says calmly. Quote, any argument that Abigail received free housing is offset by the fact that she provided round-the-clock care that would have required me to sell the house to afford professional services. We'll contest this, Archer says, his voice shaking with rage. This is elder abuse. She manipulated him. With what evidence? Veronica asks. Your father was mentally competent when he drafted this will. I have medical records confirming that. He also recorded a video statement explaining his reasoning, which I'm required to show you if you contest the will. Abraham slumps in his chair. Video? 15 minutes of your father explaining exactly why he made these provisions. Very compelling testimony. So, what does this mean, exactly? I ask, my voice barely audible. It means the estate cannot distribute any assets until you're paid in full. The house cannot be sold until you're compensated. Your brother's inheritance is contingent on satisfying this debt first. Archer's face is red now. She gets $800,000 and we get what's left. She gets what she's owed. You get your equal shares of whatever remains. Abraham does the math out loud. Total estate is about $1.2 million minus $800,000. That leaves $400,000, split 3 ways. About $133,000 each, I finish quietly. This is theft, Archer hisses, legal theft. This is your father's will, Veronica corrects, executed according to his wishes and the law. Abraham looks at me for the first time since we sat down. You knew about this? I had no idea. Bullshit. You manipulated him. You isolated him from his family and filled his head with lies about us. I isolated him. My voice rises. I begged you both to visit more. I begged you to help with his care. I begged you to contribute to his medical expenses. We had our own lives, Archer snaps. So did I. I gave mine up. You didn't. Veronica clears her throat. If there are no other questions, I'll need to file the appropriate paperwork. Abigail, you should receive your compensation within 30 days. As we file out of the office, Abraham grabs my arm in the hallway. This isn't over, he says quietly. You think you're so smart, but you have no idea what you've done. I didn't do anything. Dad did. You'll pay for this, Abby, one way or another. He walks away, leaving me standing in the hallway with Veronica. Are you all right? She asks. I don't know. Is this real? Very real. Your father was quite thorough. He anticipated their reaction. What happens now? Now you get what you deserve. Finally. As I walk to my car, my hands are shaking so badly I can barely get the key in the ignition. $800,000. Justice. Revenge. I'm not sure there's a difference anymore. The first letter arrives on Wednesday. No return address, just my name printed in block letters that look like they're trying to disguise handwriting. You don't deserve a penny, you manipulative bitch. Nicole finds me staring at it in the kitchen. What's that? I hand it to her. She reads it and her face hardens. This is harassment. You need to call the police. And tell them what? My brothers are mad about Dad's will? Tell them you're being threatened. Before I can respond, my phone rings. Unknown number. Hello? Silence, then a hang-up. It rings again immediately. Same thing. Turn off your phone, Nicole says. I can't. The lawyer might need to reach me. The phone rings a third time. This time there's heavy breathing before the line goes dead. That's it. Nicole grabs her purse. We're going to the police station. At the station, Officer Martinez takes our statement with the enthusiasm of someone filing a noise complaint. So your brothers are upset about your father's will. They're harassing me, anonymous letters, hang-up calls. Do you have proof they're the ones sending the letters? Who else would it be? Could be anyone. Family disputes bring out the worst in people. He closes his notepad. Keep the letters if more arrive. Document the phone calls. If it escalates, come back. If it escalates, Nicole's voice rises. What does that mean, exactly? Direct threats, damage to property, physical confrontation. So she has to wait until they hurt her? Ma'am, I understand you're upset, but anonymous letters aren't a crime unless they contain specific threats. Thursday morning, I wake up to find my car tires slashed, all 4 of them. Now, can you do something? I ask Officer Martinez when he arrives to take the report. Any witnesses, security cameras? No. Any direct evidence linking this to your brothers? They threatened me at the lawyer's office. What exactly did they say? I try to remember Abraham's exact words. He said I'd pay for this, one way or another. That's pretty vague. Could be interpreted as emotional distress rather than a threat. So, someone can destroy my property and you can't do anything. We'll file a report. Your insurance should cover the tyres. After he leaves, Nicole helps me call a tow truck. This is insane, she says. They're terrorising you and the police won't help. Maybe I should just give them the money. Like hell you will. You earned every penny of that money. Friday, Archer shows up at the house. I watch him through the window, pacing on the front porch like a caged animal. When I don't answer the door, he starts pounding. Abby, open up. We need to talk. Nicole is with me, and she calls 911. There's a man trying to break into my friend's house, she tells the dispatcher. I'm not breaking in, Archer shouts through the door. This is my family's house. Not anymore, it isn't, Nicole shouts back. When the police arrive, Archer is sitting on the porch steps with his head in his hands. Sir, you need to leave the property, Officer Martinez tells him. This is my father's house. According to the will, it belongs to your sister, now. She's asked you to leave. Archer looks up at me through the window. His face is haggard, desperate. Abby, please, just talk to me for 5 minutes. Against Nicole's protests, I open the door but stay on the threshold. What do you want, Archer? I need that money. I borrowed against my inheritance to invest in a startup. If I don't pay it back, you borrowed against money you didn't have yet. The business was supposed to take off. It was a sure thing. His voice cracks. I'm going to lose everything. My house, my car, my reputation. That's not my problem. It could be your solution. Take half the money. Let us contest the will. We'll split the legal fees. Why would I do that? Because we're family. I stare at him. This man who called me a mooch, who questioned every expense, who couldn't be bothered to visit his dying father more than twice a year. Family, I say quietly. Where was family when I was changing Dad's diapers? Where was family when I was sleeping on a cot next to his bed because he was afraid to be alone? Where was family when I cashed out my retirement to pay for his medications? We didn't know. You didn't want to know. There's a difference. Abraham's car pulls into the driveway. He gets out slowly like he's walking to his execution. Great, Nicole mutters. The gang's all here. Abraham approaches with his hands up like he's surrendering. Abby, we need to work this out. There's nothing to work out. Dad made his decision. Dad was sick, confused. You took advantage of him. I took care of him. You isolated him from us. I begged you to visit. I sent you updates every week. You ignored them. Abraham's composure cracks. You want to know the truth? Fine. We stayed away because it was too hard. Watching him deteriorate, seeing him forget who we were, it was easier to pretend everything was fine. Easier for who? For us, okay? We're cowards. We let you handle everything because we couldn't deal with it. But that doesn't mean you deserve to bankrupt us. I'm not bankrupting you, I'm collecting what I'm owed. $800,000 for changing bedpans. The words hang in the air like a slap. Get off my property, I say quietly. Abby, get off my property. Officer Martinez steps forward. Gentlemen, you need to leave. Now. As they walk to their cars, Abraham turns back. This isn't over, Abby. We'll find a way to fight this. Good luck with that. After they leave, Nicole puts her arm around me. You okay? No, but I will be. That night, I find another envelope slipped under my door. This one contains a single photograph, me sleeping in the chair next to Dad's bed, taken through the window. Someone's been watching me. The photograph changes everything. Nicole takes one look at it and grabs her car keys. We're going to stay at my place. Tonight. I'm not running from my own house. Someone was outside your bedroom window, Abby, taking pictures while you slept. This isn't about the money anymore. I pack a bag with shaking hands. As we're leaving, my neighbour, Mrs. Patterson, waves from her garden. Everything all right, dear? Did you see anyone around my house last night, maybe taking pictures? Her face darkens. Those brothers of yours were parked across the street around midnight. I thought it was odd, but figured they were just grieving. Which brothers? The tall one and the charming one. They sat in that fancy car for about an hour. Nicole and I exchanged looks. Thank you, Mrs. Patterson. Honey, I don't know what's going on, but your father wouldn't want you to be afraid in your own home. At Nicole's apartment, I call Veronica Fox. They're stalking me, taking pictures through my windows. Do you have proof it was them? My neighbour saw them parked outside my house. That's not illegal. Sitting in a car on a public street isn't stalking. What about the photograph? Again, without proof they took it. It's just harassment, but I'll document everything. If this goes to court, it'll show a pattern of intimidation. If this goes to court, Abigail, they filed a motion to contest the will this morning. My stomach drops. On what grounds? Undue influence. They're claiming you manipulated your father while he was mentally incompetent. But you said he was competent when he made the will. He was. I have medical records, but they're going to argue that you isolated him and poisoned him against them over time. How long will this take? Could be months, maybe a year. A year? I'm sorry, but the good news is the will is very solid. Your father was thorough. After I hang up, Nicole pours 2 glasses of wine. What are you thinking? I'm thinking maybe I should just give them the money. This isn't worth it. Like hell. You earned that money. But what if they're right? What if I did manipulate him? Nicole sets down her wine and stares at me. Are you serious right now? I don't know. Maybe I complained too much about them. Maybe I made him think they didn't care. Abby, listen to me. You didn't make them stay away. You didn't make them ignore his calls. You didn't make them miss his birthday 3 years in a row. But no buts. You sacrificed everything for 5 years while they lived their lives. Your father saw that. He knew exactly what he was doing. My phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. Check Facebook. Don't, Nicole says, but I'm already opening the app. There's a post on the town's community page, a long rant from Abraham about elder abuse and greedy siblings who take advantage of sick parents. He's posted a photo of me from the funeral, looking exhausted and dishevelled. The comments are brutal. This is disgusting. How can someone steal from their own family? I heard she kept the old man isolated so she could control him. My cousin works at the bank, says she was always coming in to cash his checks. She looks like a gold digger to me, Nicole reads over my shoulder. This is defamation. You can sue for this. With what money? I can't afford a lawyer until the estate settles. Then we fight back. How? Nicole starts typing on her phone. I'm making my own post about the truth. Nicole, don't. It'll just make things worse. Worse than letting them destroy your reputation. She shows me what she's written. I've watched Abigail sacrifice everything for 5 years to care for her dying father. While her brothers visited twice a year and criticised everything she did, she gave up her career, her savings, and her social life to provide 24/7 care. She slept on a cot next to his bed. She changed his diapers. She held his hand through chemo. She deserves every penny of that inheritance, and anyone who says otherwise doesn't know what they're talking about. Don't post that. Why not? It's the truth. Because it makes me look defensive. You should be defensive. They're trying to destroy you. Before I can stop her, she hits post. Within an hour, the comments start rolling in. Some support me, but others are vicious. If she was such a saint, why didn't the brothers help? Maybe they knew something we don't. Gold diggers always play the victim. My phone rings. It's my Aunt Thea, Dad's sister. Abigail, honey, I just saw what's happening online. Aunt Thea, I'm sorry you got dragged into this. Dragged into it? Sweetheart, I want to help. Those boys are out of line. There's nothing you can do. Actually, there is. I have something that might help. Letters your mother wrote before she died. About you kids. About who she wanted to take care of your father if something happened to her. Mum wrote letters. She was worried about your father. She knew he'd need care eventually. She specifically mentioned you as the most responsible one. Where are these letters? In my safe, along with some other things your parents asked me to keep, including a letter your father wrote to me last year, explaining why he was changing his will. He wrote to you about the will? He wanted someone in the family to understand his reasoning, in case there was trouble later. Can you bring them to the lawyer? I'm already on my way to town. I'll be there tomorrow. After she hangs up, Nicole squeezes my hand. See, you're not alone in this. But what if it's not enough? What if they convince a judge I manipulated him? Then we'll deal with that when it happens. But right now, you have ammunition. Use it. That night, I dream about Dad. He's sitting in his chair, looking healthy and strong like he used to. You worried about something, Abs? They're trying to take it away, the money. They're saying I manipulated you. He laughs. Let them try. I've got one more surprise for those boys. What kind of surprise? The kind that ends this once and for all. I wake up wondering if it was just a dream, or if Dad was trying to tell me something. Either way, I'm about to find out. The courtroom is smaller than I expected. Judge Morrison looks like she's seen every family drama imaginable and has zero patience for any of it. Archer and Abraham sit with their lawyer, a sharp-dressed man who probably costs more per hour than I used to make in a week. They won't look at me. Your Honour, their lawyer begins, this case is about elder abuse disguised as caregiving. The defendant isolated Mr. Johnson from his sons, manipulated him during his illness, and coerced him into rewriting his will. That's a serious accusation, Judge Morrison says. What evidence do you have? Mr. Johnson's sons were prevented from visiting their father. Phone calls went unanswered. The defendant controlled all access to... Objection, Veronica interrupts. There's no evidence supporting these claims. Sustained. Do you have documentation of prevented visits or blocked communications? The lawyer shuffles his papers. Well, no, Your Honour, but... Then stick to facts, Counsellor. Veronica stands. Your Honour, I'd like to present evidence that directly contradicts these allegations. She pulls out a thick folder. These are phone records showing that Mr. Johnson called both his sons regularly. Most calls went to voicemail. Here are email records showing the defendant sent weekly updates about their father's condition to both brothers. Most went unanswered. I'd also like to call a witness, Mrs. Thea Johnson, the deceased sister. Aunt Thea walks to the witness stand with a box under her arm. She's wearing her best dress and the no-nonsense expression that used to terrify me as a kid. Mrs. Johnson, how well did you know your brother's situation during his final years? Very well. I spoke with him every week. He told me everything. What did he tell you about his daughter's care? That she was an angel, that she gave up everything to take care of him, that his sons couldn't be bothered to visit unless there was something in it for them. Abraham's lawyer objects, but Judge Morrison overrules him. Did your brother ever express concerns about being manipulated or coerced? Never. He was sharp as a tack until the day he died. He knew exactly what he was doing with that will. Thea opens the box. I have letters here, from my brother's wife before she died, and from my brother himself. She pulls out a yellowed envelope. This is from Sierra, written 2 years before she passed. She was worried about what would happen to her husband if he got sick. Veronica takes the letter. May I read the relevant portion, Your Honour? Proceed. If something happens to me first, I pray that Abigail will be the one to care for him. She's the only one of our children who has the patience and the heart for it. The boys are too selfish, too wrapped up in their own lives. They love their father, but they love themselves more. Archer's face goes red. Abraham stares at his hands. Mrs. Johnson, do you have other letters? Yes, this one is from my brother, written last year. Thea pulls out another envelope. He asked me to keep it safe in case there was trouble after he died. What does it say? Thea, I'm changing my will to make sure Abigail gets what she deserves. The boys think she's living off me, but the truth is, I'm living because of her. She's given up everything. Her job, her savings, her future. She sleeps in a chair next to my bed because I'm afraid to be alone. She holds my hand during chemo. She changes my diapers without complaint. She is everything a daughter should be, and I failed her by not protecting her from her brother's cruelty. The courtroom is dead silent. He goes on to say, if the boys contest this will, show them the video I made. It's in my safe, along with this letter. They need to understand that this isn't revenge, it's justice. Judge Morrison looks at Veronica. Is there a video? Yes, Your Honour. Mr. Johnson recorded a 15-minute statement explaining his reasoning. We brought the equipment to play it, if needed. Abraham's lawyer whispers frantically to his clients. Archer shakes his head violently. Your Honour, the lawyer says, my clients would like to withdraw their contest. I'm sorry, what? Judge Morrison leans forward. We're withdrawing the motion to contest the will. Mr. Abraham, Mr. Archer, is this correct? You're withdrawing your challenge? Abraham nods miserably. Archer won't even look up. Very well, the original will stands as written, case dismissed. As people file out of the courtroom, Abraham approaches me. Abby, don't. We didn't know about Mom's letter. We didn't know Dad felt that way. You didn't want to know. There's a difference. Archer finally looks at me. His eyes are red-rimmed, defeated. We're broke, he says quietly. The legal fees, the loans I took out, we're going to lose everything. That's not my problem. We're your brothers. No, you're not. Brothers don't do what you did to me. Brothers don't call their sister a mooch while she's sacrificing everything for family. So that's it? You're just going to let us lose our houses. I look at these two men who used to be my heroes, who taught me to ride a bike and helped me with homework and walked me down the aisle at my high school graduation when Dad was too emotional to do it. You made your choices, I say finally. Now live with them. Outside the courthouse, Veronica shakes my hand. Congratulations. The estate will transfer the funds within the week. What about the video? What did Dad say? Do you really want to know? I think about it. No, I think I've heard enough. Aunt Thea hugs me tight. Your parents would be proud of you, honey. Would they? I just destroyed my brothers' lives. No, sweetheart. They destroyed their own lives. You just refused to go down with them. As I walk to my car, I see Archer and Abraham standing by theirs, looking lost and broken. For a moment, I almost feel sorry for them. Almost. The check arrives on a Tuesday, just like Dad died on a Tuesday. $847,000. I stare at the numbers until they blur together. Nicole finds me sitting at the kitchen table, still holding the check. How does it feel? She asks. Empty. Empty? I thought I'd feel vindicated, triumphant, something. Instead, I just feel hollow. The house is too quiet without Dad's breathing machine, without the shuffle of his slippers, without the constant hum of medical equipment. Even the walls seem to echo differently now. My phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. Hope you're happy. Archer lost his house yesterday. A friend. I show Nicole. She deletes it without reading the whole thing. Block the number. What if it's important? Nothing from them is important anymore, but I can't stop thinking about it. Archer losing his house. Abraham probably next. Their families, their children, paying for their mistakes. I need to go somewhere, I tell Nicole. Where? The cemetery. The drive to Restwood Cemetery takes 15 minutes. I've made this trip exactly once since the funeral, and that was to bring flowers on Dad's birthday. Today I bring nothing but questions. Dad's headstone is simple granite with his name, dates, and beloved father. No mention of husband since Mum's buried in the next plot over. I sit cross-legged on the grass between them like I used to do as a kid when we'd visit Grandma's grave. So, I got your money, Dad. All of it. Just like you planned. A breeze rustles the oak tree above his headstone. The boys are broke now. Archer lost his house. Abraham's probably next. Their kids might have to change schools, move to smaller places. Was that part of your plan too? I pull grass between my fingers, the way I used to when I was nervous. Nicole says they deserve it. Aunt Thea says you were protecting me. But I keep thinking about Christmas mornings when we were kids. Remember how Archer used to make sure I got the biggest piece of pie? How Abraham taught me to drive in the church parking lot because you were too nervous? The wind picks up, scattering leaves across the graves. They weren't always terrible, Dad. They were just selfish, weak. But does that mean they deserve to lose everything? I hear footsteps behind me. Turn around expecting to see the groundskeeper, but it's Abraham. He looks like he's aged 10 years in the past month. His expensive clothes are wrinkled, his hair uncombed. I thought I might find you here. Are you following me? No, I come here sometimes to talk to him. He gestures at Dad's headstone. Mind if I sit? Against my better judgment, I nod. Abraham lowers himself onto the grass with a grunt. I lost the house yesterday. Sarah took the kids to her mother's. She says she needs time to think about whether she wants to be married to someone who could be so cruel to his own sister. Abraham, I'm not here for pity or money. I'm here to apologize. Apologize? For calling you a mooch? For making you feel like you were taking advantage when you were sacrificing everything? For being too much of a coward to help when Dad needed us? He pulls at the grass like I was doing. You want to know the truth? We stayed away because watching him die was too hard. It was easier to pretend everything was fine and let you handle the ugly parts. I know. You know? You told me. At the house. You said it was easier to pretend. Right. He laughs bitterly. I forgot I already confessed to being a coward. We sit in silence for a while. A cardinal lands on Mom's headstone, bright red against the grey granite. What are you going to do now? I ask. Find a job, I guess. A real job, not another get-rich-quick scheme. Try to win my family back. Try to be the man Dad raised me to be instead of the selfish ass I became. And Archer's not handling this well. He's talking about bankruptcy. His wife's threatening to leave too. The cardinal flies away, leaving us alone with the dead. Abraham, I need to ask you something. Okay. If I gave you some of the money back, would you use it to rebuild your life? Or would you just blow it on another stupid investment? He looks at me like I've grown a second head. Are you serious? Answer the question. I don't know. I'd like to think I'd be smarter this time, but I've thought that before. That's an honest answer. Why would you even consider giving us money back? After everything we did? I look at Dad's headstone, then at Mum's. Because they raised us to be better than this. You're all of us. Abby, you don't owe us anything. I know, but maybe I owe them something. I stand up, brushing grass off my jeans. I'm keeping most of the money. I earned it, but I'm going to give you and Archer each $50,000. 50,000. With conditions. You use it to get back on your feet. You get real jobs. You stop blaming other people for your problems. And you never, ever contact me again, unless someone's dying. Abraham's eyes fill with tears. Abby, I don't deserve this. No, you don't. But Dad's grandchildren don't deserve to suffer because their fathers are idiots. Thank you. Don't thank me, thank Dad. This is his money, and I think he'd want his grandchildren to have stable homes. I start walking toward my car, then turn back. Abraham, one more thing. Yeah? If you blow this money on another stupid scheme, I'll make sure everyone in town knows exactly what kind of man you really are. Understood. As I drive home, I call Veronica Fox. I want to give my brothers some money back. Are you sure about this? Legally, you don't have to. I'm sure. 50,000 each. But I want it structured so they can't blow it all at once. I can set up a trust, monthly payments over several years. Perfect. Abigail, can I ask why you're doing this? Because revenge tastes better when you're the bigger person. That evening, Nicole comes over with Chinese takeout and wine. So you're really giving them money? Some of it. After everything they put you through? Because of everything they put me through. I learned what it means to sacrifice for family. Maybe it's time they learned too. You're a better person than I am. No, I'm just tired of being angry. It's exhausting. We eat lo mein and drink wine in Dad's old chair, watching the sunset through the window he used to stare out for hours. What are you going to do now? Nicole asks. Live. For the first time in 5 years, I'm going to live. Any idea what that looks like? I think about it. Maybe go back to school, travel, date someone who doesn't require a catheter bag. Nicole laughs. The bar is pretty low. I'm starting small. My phone buzzes. A text from Archer. Abraham told me what you're doing. Thank you. I don't deserve it, but thank you. I delete the message without responding. Outside, the sun sets behind the oak tree in the backyard. The same tree Dad used to sit under when he was healthy. The same tree where Mum used to hang laundry. The same tree that will outlive all of us. Justice served, debts paid, family destroyed and rebuilt in the span of a month. Dad was right. I got what I deserved. The question now is what to do with it.